Well, in breaking news about the possible fate of missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, the area of the southern Indian Ocean where acoustic pings were detected has now been ruled out as the crash zone for the passenger jet.
The Australian Transport Safety Bureau has advised that in its professional judgment, the area can now be discounted as the final resting place of MH370. Well, our reporter Peter Lloyd has been following all the twists and turns of this mystery, and he joins us now. Peter Lloyd, this statement from the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, it's basically saying that the area where those pings were detected, that's not where the plane is.
That's exactly right. It's quite, I mean, on face value, a sensational development to the extent that, you know, we had the expectation building, especially after the Prime Minister was in Beijing, saying that we felt we were close, to now walk back from that and say, in fact, that 850 square kilometre area where the Bluefin 21 device was tracking, that there's nothing there. The size of the search area, apart from that, is a vast arc, as we'll all remember from that map off the WA coast, which goes down to the south. Now, that southern corridor, they initially declared it as, that means that the rest of that southern corridor has to be part of the totality of the search operation. It's a major disappointment. It's quite a reversal of the expectations and the hope that had been provided, but it's not also, I have to say, outside the limits and boundaries that were set by Angus Houston, the search coordinator at the beginning. He did caution that these were the best signal hopes they had. He didn't say they were, and they did say they were going to do a lot of analysis on it. They've gone and done that analysis, and now we've learned from a CNN report that it seems that the analysis is that they aren't from the black box flight recorders.
So, Peter, just to boil it right down to its bare bones, the 4 strong pings that we based the search on, that area has been totally discounted as being the final resting place. What now for the rest of the search then? Well,
the ATSB's statement gets to that today. In a sense, nothing has changed. They will continue doing what they were doing, which is reviewing all of the data. They went back to square one. This began in Canberra 2 or 3 weeks back. You remember when Hussain Hussein, the acting transport and the defence minister from Malaysia, was here for the trilateral, the China, Malaysia, Australia meeting, where they hammered out the agreement on who'd do what and who'd pay for what. When they did that, they said the subject matter experts would sit down in Canberra and begin going over the data. They're still doing that. And at the same time, they're about to start mapping in 3 months, in a short while, the ocean floor, so they know exactly what it is that they are looking for, but across a vast area. And then they'll go through with the tender and from August start a 12-month search operation. That's all as per the plan. What's different is that, in a sense, is they're now saying it isn't the best hope area, it's the entire area that they're now going to have to search.
So to be clear, they're not giving up the search for MH370. It's the search area has suddenly once again become far bigger and perhaps a little more unwieldy than many of the authorities had hoped for.
That's right.
But there was another layer of confusion to this story today, because there were some reports out of the United States, a senior US Navy official who was saying something very similar to what we're now getting from the Joint Agency Coordination Centre. That US Navy official was saying, well, I don't think that those acoustic pings were the real thing.
And that's not what, interestingly, that connective tissue doesn't exist between the statement from the ATSB and what CNN reported this morning from Michael Dean, a US oceanographic expert with the US Navy. And it may be that he simply blurted out 12 hours ahead of what was supposed to have been said out of Canberra, which was that officially they now believe that that location is the wrong spot. But he went probably further than what this statement has gone, in the sense that he said, we think those pings were coming from, embarrassingly it would now seem, the Ocean Shield search vessel itself.
Or possibly
the
towed ping locator.
Or the towed pinger device, somehow either through malfunction or the deeply complex, and I wouldn't even begin to attempt to understand this one, the complex world of oceanographic pings and sounds, that somehow that device has set off a signal which is in fact an echo of itself, which is a terribly complicated and possibly plausible explanation for why they had these 4 pings.
Well, on the 14th of April 2014, in April 2014 this year, Angus Houston said, "I would just say to everybody, don't be over-optimistic, be realistic, and let's hope that the very strong signal that we were receiving is actually coming from the black box."
Yeah.
But now that is out the window. Peter, tell me this. They were searching in that area because that's where the pings were coming from, the genuine pings, let's assume that for the moment. How big is this new search area compared to the small area that they've actually been searching now?
Well, they were looking in 850 square kilometres. The search zone proper is 60,000 square kilometres. So you can imagine the gasps of frustration that must be coming from the people involved in that. They're now looking at going right across the map of that search zone and having to consider all of it. And at the same time, as I think you pointed out, they're also going back and looking at all the data from square one. And I think that suggests that there is at least something more than 0% prospect that they think that they may be in the wrong place anyway. There's got to be that element of doubt in the search zone prosecution's mind, because if they're saying that none of this is 100% science, it just leaves that scope that they are completely wrong and they're in totally the wrong place. Yeah.